Hey, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about the potential childcare costs I'm going to be navigating through here in California. So, to give some context, I recently welcomed my newborn son into the world in December of last year. Me and my wife planned to have our son. We'd been planning to have our son for a little over a year. And he's doing healthy, he's doing great, he's doing fine, and he's going on 13 weeks, going on 14 weeks right now. And given our kind of current work situation, which I'm going to break down in this video, we're currently facing childcare, right? We're going to have to pay for childcare, and the childcare cost here in California is pretty expensive, particularly within the Bay Area, which we live. We're looking at about $3,000, a little bit over, per month, just to send him to daycare Monday through Friday and to have somebody else look after him. And the reason we have to do that is because we're in a situation where we don't have people nearby us to be able to support. And what I mean by that is I'm not originally from the Bay Area. My wife's not originally from the Bay Area. I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington. I moved down to California back when I was 23 years old. I'm 25 years old right now. About 5 years ago, and I came down here for a work opportunity, and I don't regret it. I've accelerated my career. I've been able to increase my salaries and hourly rates of pay significantly. Here in California, when I first came down here, I was making about $62,000 per year. I'm making well over $100,000 a year right now, working as a manager for a big tech company out here. And so that's why I'm here. My wife, on the other hand, she has some family, not in the Bay Area, but 2 hours north in Sacramento. That's half of her family. She's mixed, half black, half Thai. She was originally born and raised in Thailand. And so she's dual citizen, really kind of started living in the U.S. when she was 16. Her dad's black, her mom's Thai. Her father passed away. Her mom still lives in Thailand right now. And so half of her family lives in Sacramento. The other half of her family lives in Thailand. And so we don't have anybody that's close by within 2 hours kind of distance. And even the family that my wife has in Sacramento that have been super helpful with us since we welcomed our son in, they're all working professionals, and so they would be able to help pick up our son from childcare if we decided to move out to Sacramento and pay for childcare out there, but they wouldn't be able to stay home and watch the kid. And so what we've seen from a lot of our friends and people within our network out here that have also recently welcomed in their newborn children is they've had better success in finding childcare because they have friends, family, or different parents that are able to kind of look after their kids from time to time, in the sense of being able to watch them, where then they don't have to pay for childcare. But we're not in that situation, and so we're looking at about $3,000 per month. That's the going rate. The difficulty of this is, one, the cost, but two, we haven't been accepted to any of the daycares that we're going to have to pay this money for. Anybody that's been looking for daycare within the Bay Area knows the cost is expensive, but the wait lists are very long, right? And so we've been waitlisted, had to pay non-refundable deposits to a couple different daycares just to get on the wait list. And they're not projecting being able to see our son until mid to end of summer, and my wife goes back to work in about a month. And so there's going to be a couple month gap that we don't have an answer for anything childcare, right? And we've exhausted pretty much a lot of our company benefits to be able to for her to be out as long as possible, and it still's not going to be enough. So it's kind of a annoying kind of feeling where it's hey, I don't even want to pay $3,000 to have somebody else watch my son. But it's almost like you have to beg for somebody to accept that money because the wait lists are so long. So it's we don't even want to give you this money, and we're having to figure out and plead to be able to get into kind of some of these places because the wait lists are so long. And the reason why the wait lists are so long is they really concentrate limiting the amount of the cohort size per se for the amount of infants that are being watched per teacher ratio. And so that's at least what we've been told. As they get a little bit older, childcare costs go down a little bit. It's still expensive, over $2,000, but you're looking around anywhere from $2,500 to $2,700 as he gets a little bit older and as he goes into the toddler phase. But still an expensive amount. I mean, over $2,000 to $3,000, that's people's rent in different places of the country. I mean, right now for a 1 bedroom apartment, and I've talked about it in a previous video that's on the channel, we're paying $3,000 right now. So we're going to be paying $3,000 to be able to pay for where we live. And then we're also going to be paying $3,000 for childcare. Now, want to give some context, additional context when it comes to how much we take home. I made a video about this last year. We brought in about $290,000 combined. We both hold the same title and work as managers for a tech company here in the Bay Area. Our take-home pay, after all of our contributions for investments and deductions, is about $10,000 per month. So 6,000, about 60% of our money is just going to go towards that, which then leaves us an additional $4,000 to pay for food, a couple different bills and things like that. We don't have really any debt. Have a pretty small like card payment that's a 0% interest loan on this Tesla Model 3 that I'm sitting in right now. But we still have a good amount of like cash flow because we've been, wise with our finances, and we can modify some things because I've talked about on this channel. I'm currently maxing out my 401k. I'm maxing out our HSA. My wife's really contributing heavily to our company ESPP plan. We're investing a lot, like so much money. So if we did need to dial it back a little bit on that, we could, and that would give us a little bit more margin. But the reason why our take home pay is about $10,000 is because we're literally throwing everything we can at investing and saving and, just doing responsible things with our finances. But still, the cost is quite expensive. So, what I've been thinking about is what are some different kind of like options that we can look at if we can't get our son into, childcare, and if we don't really want to pay these costs like long term. So for the position that I hold, there's currently a position open in Sacramento. That's 2 hours north where her family stays. Cost of living is significantly lower in Sacramento than in the Bay Area. Only downside to that is you still have state taxes, which I can't stand. Washington State, which I was born and raised in, didn't have it. They're moving towards that. I can't stand state taxes, but it is what it is. So Sacramento might be an option. There's only one role for the position, so I would likely take it, and then my wife would stop working. That'd probably just be a short-term move while we have some of her family to be able to help short-term, and then we look to move somewhere else. There's also a lot of positions that I hold right now that are available in Texas, and both me and my wife could apply to be able to get some of these roles in Texas. There's some roles open in Houston, some roles open up in Austin, some roles open up in San Antonio. So we could look at trying to get some of these positions out there, and they would adjust our pay. But if we were even to get 80% to 90% of what we make right here out there, we would be living large, right? Like affordability is a lot lower. I'm well aware there's no state taxes. Median home price is significantly lower than like where we stay right now. In the city that we live in, median home price is 1.3 million, and it's for a shack. It's not for a really good like property. So that's the kind of cost we'd be looking out there, but out here, but it'd be significantly lower from the research that we've done out there. And so that's also kind of an option. We still have to face like childcare if both of us decided to go out there and work. But like we'd be able to probably make do with that short terms just so we can stack some more money and really kind of coast fire and get some more money in the 401ks, more money in the ESPP, more money in those kind of things before my wife like officially kind of like retires. So that could be an option, or I could just get the position and we go out there and she stays at home and we live off one income, and we'll still take home pay, be doing pretty well given our financial situation, the pay that we'd be getting, the cost of living out there. So that's another option that we're kind of like considering. I've kind of as I've like gone through this kind of whole process, I think I've started to realize that, and as I've been talking with my wife, that we have outgrown our season of living here in the Bay Area, and I don't regret it. I moved here 5 years ago because I was trying to accelerate my career. I also met my wife here. She moved here to accelerate her career as well. And San Francisco or major cities are great cities, especially for young people when they're trying to accelerate their career. They're trying to have access to more job opportunities. This is probably like one of the fastest cities that you can like accelerate your career because there's so many jobs. But as you start to enter into this new arc and this new chapter in life where you want to start building your family, you start thinking about your legacy, you've enjoyed seeing like your investments kind of like compound, and now you're trying to not really take it easy, but maybe dial it back just a little bit and, focus on other aspects like of your life. You realize that major cities are not the best place to live for starting like a family. And that's kind of what we've realized. But we've realized that as we went through like this process, and we've had to really reflect as to, wait, why are we here? And for San Francisco, like, this doesn't feel like home for us. We don't have any family here. I don't have family here. She doesn't have family here. We don't have a strong why for being here. The only reason that we're still here is because we get really paid well for what we do. We're able to invest, we're able to save, we're able to grow our careers. But now we got to start thinking differently. And so Texas, I think, has been a legitimate state that we've thought about like moving to, just from a cost of living standpoint. Again, 3 great cities to be able to like move to. And our job hires a lot of roles for our position in all of the major cities there: San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Houston. So, and they're all like, a pretty far distance from each other. So we'd have to select like which city that we'd want to move. But that legitimately seems like it'd be a good place, right? My wife being from Thailand and having like a lower cost of living out there than having to adjust to like the US, she's thought it's impossible to live a good quality life here in the US. And I've had to explain to her, like, we just happen to be in the most expensive state, California, right? Like, this is not all of the US. If you go down south, if you go Midwest, there's a lot of affordable states where you can get good returns off of your money and get value, home ownership, things like that. But if you're going to live in California, you got to be here for a purpose, right? And people can say whatever they want about like California and it being like a state. Like, this is San Francisco, particular for the Bay Area, is a great place to be able to grow your career. It is a great place to be able to get a lot of good like job opportunities and accelerate your career, especially if you don't have a lot of experience. That's what I did. That's how I was able to start earning this $100,000 plus a year salary that I've been, getting here since like the age of 24, because I've been working at this company that I'm at. So a lot of great opportunities for tech, but you're seeing a lot of jobs opening up in like in Texas, and that's what's kind of piqued my interest. The place that I want to move to needs to have a robust job market, right? Like, if most of my income is going to be off W-2, I need to be able to be in a state or a city that has a robust and growing like economy when it comes to jobs, in order for me to be able to find, great opportunities, or to make me have stronger conviction that, my company is going to continue to operate in that kind of like place. So that's what I'm looking at, but that's how I'm going to have to like curb it right now. I mean, I think plan A is, if we get, off the wait list accepted into one of these daycares for the short term, we're going to pay the $3,000 just so we can continue to allow some of our stocks from our company to vest, more investments to go into our investment accounts. But the long-term move to be able to curb this is we're going to have to move maybe short-term north to Sacramento and survive on one income, and avoid the childcare, so that we can move to Texas, which is likely going to be a probably more long-term kind of like move for us, so that we can enjoy more of our money and, home ownership and, just other things. Because as disciplined as we've been with saving like our money like right now, and I mean our rent is less than 30% of like of our take-home pay, or about 30%, and we invest so much. Even with doing all of that stuff, we're still feeling like the tightness, right? We're still feeling, strapped, and you just start to realize how expensive stuff is. You can do everything right, and you can do things by the book, and, life can still be very, very, very expensive. So that's kind of what I'm just thinking about. But that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed the content. Just wanted to give some insight into what I'm navigating. Maybe it's helpful. Maybe it gives you some things to think about as you're navigating like your personal life, your journey. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'm going to continue to be dropping videos daily, just documenting kind of what I'm navigating through, my thought process on personal finance, career moves, things like that better position my family. And I'm happy for you guys to be on this journey with me. So hope you have a good day. Take care.